not mine. It's Christie's. Don't worry. No, that's what it is. Okay.
This is the most important class I believe you're going to take in high school, because you may or may not use algebra, you may or may not use chemistry, but you're going to have to deal with the government, whether you want to or not. You're going to have a wallet and hopefully have more money in it than not. I want to make sure you, when you leave here, you understand how our government's supposed to work. You don't have to believe like I do. You don't have to think like I do. I'm going to tell you how I think, because I don't want y'all to be wrong the rest of your life. We're taught, or our society now teaches us, if you don't agree with this person or you don't like this person, they need to shut up, right? That's stupid. If you've never lived in inner city Houston, you have no idea what it's like. If you've never lived in a farm 40 miles from town, you have no idea what it's like. And if you'd sit down and talk and listen, 70% of the problems will be gone. He is listening. Nobody listens. We wait until we see the person's mouth quit flapping, and then we say what we've been planning while they were talking, right? We don't listen. And if we'd ever stop and listen, we could figure some things out and fix some stuff. But we're never going to fix stuff telling people to shut up and you don't deserve to talk and your ideas don't matter. And tolerance means you agree with me. That's not tolerant. Tolerant is, I disagree with you, but we can get along. Does that make sense? We've lost that in America today. When you listen to somebody, 3 things happen. Number 1, you might learn something. And we're scared of that. We're scared of learning something because that might threaten what we think and believe. But you might learn something. You might get a different perspective of something. You spend your life looking at the butt of a horse, and all of a sudden you see the face. Whoa! That's different. Third thing, and this is the best one, you might figure out they're bigger idiots than you thought they were. But that's what happens when we listen. And we don't really listen. So I want y'all to really, I'm a junior psychologist. I don't have a phone or anything like that. I know why y'all put stuff out there. You put stuff out there so people will say, yay, you're amazing, you're great, I love it. Yeah, you go, girl. That's why you do it. If we spend all of our time hanging around with people that have the same ideas as us, and we keep getting our ideas and our thoughts verified, this mess is going to continue. You got to be able to sit down with people we don't agree with, that we're different from, and listen and learn some things. Doesn't mean you change who you are. You know? For instance, I am extremely, I'm going to say a lot of things that offend you. And that means we're in America. That's how you know you're in America. If you're offended, yes, congratulations, you're in America. I hope you're offended every day, otherwise we ain't America. Otherwise we have no freedom. I'm extremely anti-abortion. Hey. Yes.
You'll both out, right?
Yes. Yes, sir. I believe abortion is not an option. Because, the reason for that is, girls, you're not going to become pregnant when you're 25. I'm pregnant. No. There's things that have to happen to become pregnant. If I am a conservative Christian, and that just offended a bunch of y'all, I'm a conservative Christian. My actions hopefully stem from what God has taught me in the Bible. And I truly believe if everybody followed what the Bible said, we wouldn't have a ton of the problems we have. That's true. There'd be no AIDS, there'd be unwanted pregnancies, there'd be no murders. If everybody did what the Bible said, we'd be great. Hopefully I base my life on that. I ain't perfect. I'm a piece of garbage. there are not many American Christians. There's people who say I'm a Christian. I can say I'm on the team, but if I ain't showing up for practice and I'm not in the game, I'm not wearing a jersey, I'm not on the team. That makes sense? I'm not saying I am not better than anybody. I'm the worst piece of garbage there is. Don't ask Little Christy or Pacer or anybody. Just trust me. But if Little Christy had an abortion, would this picture be different? What would be different? That little kid right there, Titan, who's number one on the list this week, by the way. Y'all heard what happened this week? I ranked the kids. Kind of a motivational tool, like national rankings, you know. Titan is number one. He cried Wednesday. Literally cried because he did not have football practice. I said, you're number one. I've never had a kid cry because he didn't go to football. That you're number one. Way to go. And he asked this weekend, Dad, would you like to watch Remember the Titans? Yes, sir, I would. And he acted it out. What was it? Oh, no, what was that like? Anyway, it's never the kid's fault. That's where I come from. If you're pro-abortion, guess what? We can talk and get along. I wouldn't hate you. I can sit with someone that disagrees with me and is different from me and have a talk and have a relationship and get along with you. So, anyways, speaking of, when I was 14, in Coach Borland's class, she was our science teacher, she coached volleyball. She had a little boy, a little 5-year-old named Pacer, and a brand new baby named Colt. Yeah. And as soon as she said that, God spoke to me for the first time ever that I ever heard. And he said, you're going to have 2 boys named Colt and Pacer. I said, yes, sir. Great for me, because I don't understand girls at all. And I can't imagine having to live in my house and be a girl. That would be horrific for me. I love girls. They don't need to be in my house. I recognize that. Little Christy didn't want girls either. She said, I was a girl, why would I want one? You know, she did. Anyway, I told little Christy, right before we got married, you're going to have 2 boys named Colt and Pacer. She was, okay. Yes, we will. I showed you the Packer deal. I haven't done this in any other class. I don't have a script. Let's go. I love football. Let me back up. Everything we do in here, whatever we do, whatever day it is, there's a purpose behind it. Don't waste time with it. Y'all have time to waste. Y'all are gone in May, and I've got 5 trillion things that are going to cram in your head so you won't be a failure in life. But everything we do in here has a purpose. You're going to be very confused at the end of class today. Trust me, there's a purpose for it. We're going to get to the end, and it'll make sense. I'm very passionate about this class. I'm very passionate about helping y'all. I use a lot of my own experiences to try to help you not be as dumb as I was and make the best of your life. I love football. When I was 3 years old, you can call bullcrap all you want. When I was 3, my first memory, Mom and Dad took me to a high school football game. I'd been to it before, but I remember that. I remember going in the stand or sitting like this. We went in the gate, went into here, we sat down. Mom and Dad knew the mascot. They came up, they took the paper mache head off. I screamed because here's this monster, there's a wolf, and they took the head off. There's a human, so I'm going crazy. But then I saw cheerleaders throwing the little footballs. You know what I mean? That's all I wanted. I wanted one of those little footballs. And I loved the sounds. And we had a station wagon, and there was I didn't take it. My mom was 15. My dad was like 16 when I was born, 1967. Newsflash, she didn't have an abortion. It wasn't legal then. There was abortions, but it wasn't legal. I don't know what would happen if it was legal. That's not why I'm anti-abortion. I'm anti-abortion because there wouldn't be a little baby there. She gave me up for adoption. I'm not angry. I'm not bitter. I don't want to go find somebody. I don't not want to go find. I'm thankful that she said, I'm going to do this So that kid can go off. What do you do? Air conditioning. I have a college degree. I'm sitting down talking with an air conditioner running and I'm by the fan. Look at this. I have a great life. I probably wouldn't have this life if she'd have kept me. She gave me up, so I had the opportunity. And I'm extremely thankful for that. Anyway, people that got me are not the people I would pick. Hey, did you ever see my mom and dad?
I think I met him once.
My dad and me got in an argument, and I got grounded because I wouldn't say when I talked, I would say talking instead of talking. I wasn't interested in degrees and chemistry sets and literature, and the complete opposite of me. I'm very thankful that they took me in and fed me and let me throw up on them and wiped my butt. You really get perspective when you get your kid. Some things make sense there because you see the other side. You see the face of the horse instead of just the butt of the horse. They're not all human beings are decent human beings. Some are piece of crap human beings, but for the most part, most parents in the back of their mind are kind of trying to help you be okay. Not all, okay, but for the most part. And mine were. But we didn't have anything in common at all. All I wanted to do was play sports. All I wanted to do was play ball. I wanted to be an athlete. And I was awful. I was horrible. Well, anyway, back to 3. I was sick and didn't get to go to a game, and Dad brought me back for football. Gave it to me. And that's the first time in my life I remember being mad. I think I threw the ball. I said, I don't want that. Is anybody confused? Does anybody get it? Why? Why was I mad? I didn't catch it. Dad's way of thinking, oh, he just wants a football. I wanted to catch the football. I wanted to catch the football. The only thing I cry about. Literally, the only thing I cry about. That's how I know I have this passion inside of me. I get paid next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday. We're going to walk to a stadium. And hopefully there'll be some man tuning up and you hear the kind of rustling. And as I walk up and get close to the field, I'm going to tear up. Because I get to do this. I get to be a part of this. And I get paid to do this. That's how you know you're doing the right thing. If you wake up and hit the alarm and go, crap, I got to go to work. You ain't doing the right thing. And that's what you're doing now. You're trying to pay the bills. But for your career, it needs to be something you bawl about every once in a while. Because you can't believe you get to do this. I loved football. Growing up, I was horrible. I was the last one picked. We had the most awesome kickball games in elementary. Greatest you've ever seen. I was always the last one picked. Always. They weren't bullying me. I wasn't upset that I was the last one picked. I was upset that I deserved to be the last one picked. I knew who I was, and I didn't want me on my team either because I wanted to win. I knew I didn't bring anything. I wanted to win. But I didn't like being that guy. I wanted to be somebody good. In junior high, my nickname was Lardathon. Because Jonathan Lardathon. I didn't get mad that they called me Lardathon. I wasn't being bullied. I was Lardathon. I was really ticked that I was Lardathon. I didn't want to be him. I wanted to be the Heisman Trophy winner. I didn't want to be the kid that was too slow and too weak and too small to do anything. I didn't want to be that kid. Now, I worked my tail off. I told you that. I tell you, I'm old, so I lose stuff. Did I tell y'all I spell my name with lower letters? Mm-hmm. Okay. I don't think of myself highly. I don't have this big. I will work. I did work my tail off. I've got no lazy now, but I would work my tail off. My class was really good at football. Really good athletes. And everybody was talking about us from the time we were in 7th grade, that how good we were going to be. Sophomore year, I was third string lineman. Third string nose guard. Because we only had 3 nose guards. If there was 4, I'd have been 4. This will make sense later. Make it through today and it'll be okay. I know most of y'all probably bored to death. It'll make sense. That sophomore year, I was tired of it. And I started running after school. And I got to where eventually, after a few months, I was running 2 miles a day. And I was getting taller. In my junior year, I was 6 foot. I had lost weight. In the spring of my junior year, our new coach, Steve Reed, came in and made me a receiver. So the spring of my junior year, going into my senior year, I'm going to be a receiver. I'm going to be on varsity because I'm a senior, but I wanted to be on varsity because I deserved it. That was my goal. I knew I wouldn't play. I wanted to belong. Does that make sense? Chris Holtz was a junior, and he was ahead of me on the depth chart. Him and Brack Taylor and 2 girls were riding in a car, and they were in the Lido where 20 and 30 split. They were building that. They had the dirt all piled up. They were high on all kinds of stuff. They were drunk. They were everything you could be. And reports were they were trying to jump the piles of dirt like Dukes of Hazzard. And they wrecked, and the car caught on fire. Chris got out. Brack died. Pulled one of the girls out. And then he ran to the bar about a mile down the road. When he got there, they put him out. Jaden, I got you. I'm telling you. You have to look it up. I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you. There you go. They put him out. He'd been on fire that whole time. They took him to the burn center down in Galveston. We went and visited him. He had the doctor up, all the stuff. And we went by the girls' room. I forget her name. The door opened, a nurse came out, and I looked in, and there was something. I just remember this charred looking something. She died the next day. Chris lived. But we went in, and the sheet or the blanket was like on something because it couldn't touch him because his skin was so jacked up. He had these little sleeve things, and he didn't have fingers because they were all whatever. And so he was shaking because he was cold, but they couldn't put the blankets on him. His hair was gone. His face, well, you could tell who he was. I think about 80% of his body was burned. He came back that was July. He came back to school in October at one of the pep rallies, and everybody was going nuts. We not got trashed that night. I don't get that. Sometimes God taps you on the shoulder and goes, hey, maybe you need to do this. Sometimes he smacks you upside the head with a 2x4. But he didn't do it again. Anyway, going to 2 days. First day, we're doing sprints. Mark Cook, my best friend since first grade, smartest kid in the class, best athlete in the class, one of those guys that makes you sick, best friend in the world. The reason I don't know math is because of him. My first grade teacher was pretty sorry, and I couldn't do math, so she sat me by Mark, whose dad was a math professor at Weatherford College, and it'd say like, what's 4 plus 4? And I would say 9, and Mark would say, no, it's 8. Okay, so I write it down. So I didn't learn math. I just had Mark write it. Mark was in 5A. He was a hurdler. He was a regional hurdler. He was a all-district pitcher, first-team all-district pitcher. He was a quarterback, first-team all-district, third-team all-state, and all-region in basketball. Hey, Blake Stewart. Blake, I had 2 hours sleep. Hey! Woo! I had 2 hours sleep last night. Stay with me. I don't want you to miss out. I know you're bored. I know it'll make sense. It'll make sense. Anyway, me and Mark, Coach said, look, when we're running, I don't expect you to be a speedster like Cook or Ryle. I didn't hear anything else he said. He just called Larda a speedster. Now, I had worked my tail off. That was the first time in my life that anything I had done athletically was ever anything. So that was like a big moment. Athletics is not the most important thing in the world. Football is not the most important thing in the world. At the time, I had this obsession. Okay. The first game, I got in on Hen's team. The second game is coming up. We're playing Brownwood. Brownwood was Salina. Brownwood was Brock. Brownwood was Allen. They won 9 state championships from 1960 to 1984. We hated Brownwood. They had beaten us 30 years in a row. Some years 40-0, some years 12-10, but they beat us 12 years in a row. We were in the top 10. They were in the top 10. We were playing the second week of the season at home. All 3 TV stations were coming. They sold 10,000 tickets. Game of our life. Game of the week in the state. Coach Arnell after practice comes up to me. Says, "Riley, you're doing pretty good." I said, "Thank you." He said, "Can you start on Friday?" I told you the only thing I cry about is football. Right? And I don't know when it's going to happen. I'll tear up about something. I didn't know that one. All right, good. I looked at him. I couldn't. Game of my life. He's asking me if I'll start. Yes, started on Friday. That Saturday night before that, so we used to have dances, and we would go to dances, and we would dance. So what could we do? We could dance. Because we had them, we went to them, and we did it. Therefore, we could dance. And not just, we could dance, we could 2-step dance. If you're counting, you ain't 2-stepping. If you're stepping, you ain't 2-stepping. You got to slide, you got to glide, and there's a pattern to it. I've been to the prom before. Godzilla. So sad. So sad. Anyway. Girls, if you've grown up with Larthan, but his senior year, he comes back and he's not Larthan anymore. What's he still going to be? Larthan. That's Larthan. It's a mirage. No, it's Larthan. Yeah. Freshmen had never met Larthan. So Tony Benson. Tony with an I. You know what Christy's last letter is? It's an I. I names are pretty cool. Tony came up and started talking to me, and I talked to her, and we danced, and we talked, and we danced, and we talked, and then said, well, we'll talk Monday after practice. She had volleyball and football. So Coach Arnell says, "You're going to start on Friday." So I run to the gym. I got my helmet in my hand still. Do I have news for Tony Benson? Yeah, I got some news to tell her. She was excited. It's different now. Football's no big deal. Back then it was a big deal. And so she's a little freshman now. She's talking to some guy who's doesn't just play football. He plays now. He's on. Growing up, they'd always introduce the starters. They'd individually introduce the starters. And I was just like, oh, maybe someday. I'm sitting there second in line. There's Mark, isn't it? And up in the stands, there's some hot little babe with a t-shirt with a helmet with my number. It's my name and my number on the back. I know that's dumb. But I never imagined that could possibly happen to me. And there it is. Brownwood were winning 7-3 at halftime. Melissa Hoffman was named homecoming queen. She didn't deserve it. Andrea Kirkland was the homecoming queen and didn't get it. I still don't get that. Another thing that doesn't really matter. They run the second half kickoff back because our outside contained sprints in and try to be a hero, and they score. 10-7, going in the fourth quarter, 10-7. We got the ball. There's about 15 seconds left. It's fourth down. We're on about the 35 or 40. We got 65 yards to go. We ran the veer. The veer is split back and you run the option. We don't pass the ball. I did catch a first down. I caught a first down pass right in front of Coach Wood. There's Coach Wood on the sideline. I catch the pass. I get tackled. I get up. I go, yeah! 1991. I'm at coaching school. Coach Wood is selling his little book. I'm in line. I get to it. And he's signing. I said, Coach Wood, I used to hate your guts. So where you from, son? I said, Weatherford. He said, I used to hate yours too. And he could have stood up, gave me a big hug. He didn't remember that. I told him about that. He didn't remember that happening. I don't know why in a 40-year career why you wouldn't remember some Yahoo from Weatherford who got a first down. But it's fourth down. We don't have a passing game. Coach Reed just grabs and says, look, y'all just spread out. Go as deep as you can, mark, throw it as far as you can. So I get out there, and back then, receivers, we put our hand in the dirt. You ever seen old Miami with Michael Irvin playing, they're down like this, have my hand in the dirt. And just as I get set, I look over at my best friend Mark. He's getting under center. We used to play quarterback and then put under center and get the ball like that. You know, old team. He's just about to get down there. He looks over at me and goes, and chills just shoot up my back. And I just think, what's fixing to happen? Who's he throwing the ball to? He's throwing the ball to me. We're playing Brownwood. 2 top 10 teams. TV stations are there. My hand is just shaking. And I take off. Now when I play, I don't know how it is when y'all do stuff. It goes slow motion, black and white, and not just silent, but just muffled. And as soon as the ball snapped, I take off. I get about 3 steps, and I hear roll, and I turn around, and my best friend is in the middle of a defensive team picture, just getting slammed on the turf, and he just slings the ball as he's falling. I reach back, one-handed. I didn't reach back. It bounced twice. What was that? Complete. Brownwood's ball. They're going nuts. Weatherford side is just staring. We go on. We have a decent season. We got ripped at Brewer. Brewer ripped. Oh, that was a bunch of crap. They cheated. And there was a little young Amy Carruthers, I think, up in the stands as a freshman drill team person. We talked about this before. We're playing Middle Wells. 2 teams go to the playoffs. We could lose by 19 and still go. Lose by 20, we're not going. So we had the chart up in the locker room playing Hershey at Wichita Falls the next week. Fourth quarter, we're losing 24 points. We got the ball on like the 15. Everybody's in the huddle. We got 80 yards to go. Everybody in the huddle's griping and pointing at each other, and my best friend gets up there and just says, "Shut up." So all our life, people around here have been talking about how good we're going to be. Well, now we got a chance to see if we are good or not. We drove the ball. We got to about the 35, and things shut down. Fourth down. Coach calls timeout. Come on. Coach Reed looks at me and says, "Ryle, do you know the tight end on 36-year special?" I'm a slot. I'm not a tight end. I said, "Yes, sir, I do." How do I know? It's not my position. How do I know what to do if I'm playing tight end on 36-year special? In practice, when Coach talked, I listened and watched and focused, so I knew what to do. He asked me, "You know what to do? 36-year special is, we run 36-year this way, Mark gets the ball, reads that, pitches. The receiver over here runs in between, catches the pitch, throws it back to the tight end, running the quarter route over there." I didn't throw the ball because Bruce Logan's dad played in Super Bowl III. He was a cornerback for the Colts when they played the Jets. So he's the guy throwing the ball. Who knows what my dad is? The guy that raised me wants chemistry, and so I can't throw. So I line up. When Coach, it meant something when he asked me that. When Colt and Ty graduated, after graduation, 3 or 4 years ago, Coach Reed had his 80th birthday. And I went. And I made this, at Walmart, you make these little picture books, little album things. And I took a bunch of pictures from pictures of coaching and kids and my boys. If you want me to ball. Give me a football game with my boys. I'm going to ball. Anyway, I gave that to him and I wrote, You know what it meant? I thank him for helping me get what I wanted. You know. And I told him, as a coach, looking back, him putting me in that position meant he was putting his life in my hands. His house payment was in my hands. His career was in my. I always tell people, say, you're a gambler? I said, well, my life is dependent on 16 and 17-year-old boys' decision-making skills. That's what my kids will eat if those boys make good decisions. Anyway, and I told him, I said, I don't know why you put me in that position, but as coach, that's one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. I'm looking back. He wrote a letter and he said, being a coach, there's kids that you can completely depend on, and there's some you can't. And for me, the decision to put that in your hands was easy. Anyway, wind up. Snap the ball, I take off. The corner, there's the safety. The corner's up here. The safety flies out of the way. He sprints over there with the view. So I run, do my little stick, I turn around. There is no one in my zip code. If we get 6 points, that means we're 18 down, which means we're going to the playoffs. So I'm going to catch the pass that puts us in the playoffs. I'm going to get a picture in the paper, which is important to me back then. Today, I don't want anybody to know my life. But anyway, Bruce takes the pitch. He's supposed to go 1, 2, set up, throw it. He goes 1, 2, shuffle, 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 set up. And when he throws it, this red linebacker knocks the ball on the ground. And I'm standing, waiting for the ball. I love this. This is great. I'm standing there on about the 10-yard line, watching all this. Fourth down. Not only is the game over, season over, and everything I've worked for and built my life on, gone. We hung out on the field for a little while, because if we stay on the field, there's a chance the refs might come back and say, oh, something happened, we got to restart, or we eventually go to the locker room, and I am balling like I've never balled in my life. The only time I've balled harder than that was after Colts last night. Because we were together on the field from the time he was 5 to then. And I came home and sat on the couch, and I tried to talk to little Chris. She said, what's wrong? I could not speak for an hour and a half. But I'm sitting there in the locker room, just balling. And Coach Wright, he was the hot coach. He had graduated 3 years before. He had played in college. He was All-American in college. He was jacked, and he always looked like this all the time because he was disgusted with the way you were playing, and he never had anything good to say. He came up to me, he put his hand on my knee, and he said, "Rob, I've never seen anyone get more of what they have than you do." And for a second, filled it. You know, the little empty hole we all got? Just filled up. What is self-esteem? Where's that come from? Self-esteem. Where's that come from? Yourself. That's correct. It comes from yourself. If your self-esteem is determined by other people, you're in trouble. Because other people are idiots. And they'll jack with you and they'll mess with you. Becky Durham in 2nd grade. The rule in 2nd grade was 2 people can be standing up at the same time. So I spent all my day in 2nd grade going Batman, Speed Racer, and watching Becky Durham and seeing how many people were standing up. And the minute 2 people were standing up, I would stand up and look at her. And she'd go, oh, Miss Coulson. She'd just freak out because somebody had broken the rules. And I go, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know. And she just freaking, and I'm relaxed, and I've just ruined her day, and I'm fine, and she's, anyway. He, for a split second, him saying that, made everything all right. I had accomplished something. I had done something. And then I go back to realizing, oh crap, I'll never wear a helmet again, and I'm losing it again. Okay, come back to that. From 6th grade to my senior year, I'm going to be an architect. I'm going to UTA, I'm going to be an architect. I love designing buildings and floor plans. I get graph paper, and man, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be an architect. I'm going to go to UTA. My mom and dad wanted me to go to this little school called Austin College. So can I go there? No. If they want me to go there, I sure can't go there. So I didn't even apply. Senior year, I walk into trig, which is some kind of math. Geometry makes sense to me. You got this square and this square, and there's a point that touches both of them. That means they both touch somewhere. I'm like, yes. Okay, I see that. That makes sense. X squared minus the cosine of B equals, you cannot add letters. So that didn't make any sense at all. So I walk into trig, I sit down, and the teacher says, hello, welcome to trig. Turn to page 3. I could not understand a word they said after that. I just stood there for a day and a half going. Got out, went to consumer math. Writing checks, all that kind of stuff. What does that mean for architecture? Because architecture is not about what it looks like. It's about making the building so it doesn't fall and kill people. And you got to have math to do that. So my life has taken a drastic change. No more architecture. I'm going to be a sportscaster. I'm going to go be on the radio or on TV. They're going to pay me to go watch games. Is there a better life than that? Yeah, I gotta wear a tie, but. So I go to UTA, I'm gonna be a sportscaster. I think I failed every class except for history the first semester. History I A to B. And I always loved history. I know some people don't love history. Actually, y'all do. Y'all all love history. Because you're all doing history all the time. And then I did this, and they did this. Oh, no, yeah, and they did this, and they did that. That's all history. You just ain't famous. You know, George Washington did stuff. He got famous because of what he did. In 2nd grade, I started loving history because I read this book called We Were There, Pearl Harbor. It's about these 2 little kids that just happened to be at Pearl Harbor. What it was teaching me all about Pearl Harbor, but it was like a little story based on little kids, you know. So they fooled me into liking history. So I started loving history then. And I liked reading. And then I checked that book out again, and the teacher said, you can't check the same book out twice. So I didn't like reading anymore. And then my dad said, no more sports books. So then I hated reading forever. Now I like reading again, if I, anyway. But I love history because when I'm doing something in history, I see the movie in my head. Does that make sense? It's just, history's nothing but people just living life and doing stuff. And it's a movie. So that's why I like history. So I passed history. I took biology, and it was a theater. If you go to some big school, some of your classes are going to be like in huge theaters with like 500 people in them. And for me, there was a guy down there with a Yankee accent. I couldn't understand a word he was saying, and he was flipping pages off the overhead. You had to copy 9 pages of notes in about an hour and a half, and he's talking the whole time. I can't understand what he's saying. I'm just trying to write all these words down that I'm seeing. And I stopped. There was one word. He said non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Biggest word I've ever seen in my life. Non-cyclic photophosphorylation. I'm sure it has something to do with food and plants and light. But I just said, wow, that's a word right there. Non-cyclic photophosphorylation. I did make a B in biology lab because the teacher there was a grad student. And she had this beautiful, long, thick red hair and these huge green eyes. And I listened to every single word she said. I was watching. Anyway, I'm at broadcast diction class the spring semester. That's my first radio TV class. They try to teach you how to talk, to be on the radio. All my life, bosses loved me because I've worked my butt off. Coaches loved me. Teachers loved me. Moms loved me. Twice in my life, I've had moms call me crying because their daughter dumped me. And I told them, this is part of the problem. If you would hate me a little, they'd like me more. Anyway, so he asked, the teacher asked me after class, said, would y'all, he says, Ryle, would you see me after class? I'm like, sure. So I'm expecting, all my life, I always got the pat on the back. Great job, Ryle. Way to work. Good job. I'm wondering what I'm going to get. So I go see him. I said, yes, sir, you want to see me? He goes, yeah, why are you in this class? I said, I'm going to be on radio and TV doing sports. I said, no, you're not. With that accent, you'll never get a job, so you probably need to find something else. So in 12 seconds, what has he just done? He destroyed my life. Now I'm taking college loans out for a job I won't get. I don't have a career. I've just signed my life away, and I'll have nothing to show for it. I have no skills, I have no abilities. I'm walking across campus, the Charlie Brown cloud, this blue sky, and people throwing frisbees and laughing. I'm just trying to get to it. I've got to figure out a career. What am I going to do for a living? I said, I really liked high school. That was fun. Maybe I could coach and teach. I had never thought of that. That was not anything that entered my mind. Now, I was ignorant. You know what ignorant is? Ignorant means you don't know. Stupid means you know. Ignorant is you don't know. So it's better to be ignorant than stupid. I was ignorant in that I thought I needed to play something to coach something. You don't have to. And I thought, okay, Austin College is a little bitty school. Maybe I can go there and play something. What's the problem? You ever heard of Austin College? My parents wanted me to go there. So then I sat there for another hour, and I'm too logical now. I think I'm too intelligent now. But I came up with some way to explain it to them where they were still wrong and I was still right. And it had to be ridiculous. So I call my mom. She answers. My mom she was the nun. Everybody called her the nun because everything was positive. She never had a negative thing to say. She always saw the bright side of things. And I told her what I was going to do, and she goes, you'll never get in. Thanks, Mom. She was right. Nobody wants a 0.5 grade point average transfer student in their college. They want people that can do things, that at least pass. Well, that year, Austin College had the least amount of people apply that they ever had. And there was 4 spots for transfer students. There was 2 of us that transferred. If things had been normal, I never would have gone. So, now I'm going to Austin College. I show up for 2 of those. I did the dumbest thing ever. I'm going to tell you something. This is the trust tree. Okay? Trust tree. Right? This ain't getting out. Girls are undefeated. My oldest kid was not a ladies' man at all. He's going out with this girl, and she's pretty sorry.
Same one?
He's not anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, but that one. Mom knows it. I know it. Pacer knows it. Cole doesn't know it. And y'all seen this. We'll finish tomorrow. It'll get better, I promise. Thank y'all. Have a great day.